It's very grand and elegant.
It has a great view, and it's open and it's beautiful.
I thought it was very relaxed and stately.
It was very impressive. I really enjoyed the vastness of the space.
Hi, we're 3 first-time visitors to Hillwood Estate Museum and Gardens. One space that really captivated us was Mrs. Post's Lunar Lawn.
I wonder how Mrs. Post used this garden room.
What drew me in was this huge vista looking out to the Washington Monument.
That's the first thing I noticed as well. I'd also like to know how Hillwood uses this space today.
Let's go to Brian to get some answers.
Who's Brian?
Brian Barr is the director of horticulture at Hillwood. I think he's over there with Jody Fetzer, garden supervisor.
Hi, Brian. This beautiful space is so carefully laid out. Did Mrs. Post design it herself?
She created the Lunar Lawn. What was there before, when you'd come out the south portico, looking towards the Washington Monument, there would be boxwood that would have a path to the vista. They were all moved and then created the half moon, the Lunar Lawn. It was extensively used for entertaining.
What sort of entertaining?
The spring garden party was like the party, and that was the first Sunday in May.
I would have loved to have been there. Tell me about it.
Party would flow from the mansion across the lawn, and there would often be tents set up. And from there, people would continue, almost like water is flowing down a mountain, go down the stairs, the Lunar Lawn, and then you're welcomed into the Japanese garden.
It must have been a magical time. You create such a vivid image of beauty, gaiety, and connection between the lawn and the people. It seems Mrs. Post considered everything.
She did consider everything. I was surprised to see the Washington Monument peeking out from the trees as I stood on the south portico.
It's very striking if you look at the patriotic elements in that space. The whole space focuses on the Washington Monument. I mean, that's the point in the distance, 3.8 miles away. We've got the American flag in that space. Mrs. Post was very, very patriotic and a strong supporter of our troops. She entertained the Vietnam veterans when it maybe wasn't quite fashionable, and even during the war she donated the Sea Cloud to be used for war and repurposed for the United States.
And that flagpole was given to her by her staff
on her 75th birthday.
And it's patterned after the mast on the Sea Cloud.
What's the Sea Cloud?
It was her private yacht.
The Lunar Lawn is almost the most American of the spaces.
Does Hillwood use the Lunar Lawn today?
We are using it more and more today for entertaining, and we're having evening films where people can picnic out on the lawn, which is really fun.
We have the Fabergé Egg Family Festival, and they have egg rolling, the old Russian type that runs down like a little chute, and that's on the Lunar Lawn. And the French Festival that has performances, they usually put a stage, not on the Lunar Lawn, but they put a stage by Leo. And then people put blankets and everything.
So, the Lunar Lawn is still used to gather the community just as it was during Mrs. Post's time.
How many people does it take to maintain the lawn today as opposed to during Mrs. Post's lifetime?
So the numbers are basically about 30 in her time with no volunteers, versus now we have 6 with over 100 volunteers.
So the volunteers are really crucial?
The volunteers are crucial.
I'm sure my husband would be curious. How often do you have to mow this lawn?
I mean, we're mowing it almost 3 times a week.
Well, Jody and Brian, thanks for talking to us for a few minutes and answering our questions.
It sounds like you're really passionate about your work at Mrs. Post. What is it about this space that really speaks to you?
I love that you can be in your home yet connected with the heart of our country, which is D.C. and the Washington Monument. So it's just that link to the whole country, basically, in that one space.
The other thing is people marvel, even today, how close they are to downtown, but it seems worlds away. And I say the Lunar Lawn is the greatest of the great rooms.